This call is now being recorded.
Okay. So today we'll be discussing on MCQs from respiratory system, and that the focus is on uh, bronchial asthma. Okay, focus is on bronchial asthma. Okay. Now I'll go to the first MCQ. All of the following are true about intrinsic asthma, except.
Okay,
So
sir.
what do you think is the choice?
IgE is increased
Increasing
in
incidence. Huh? So it is a question with except. It is asking except. Increasing incidence. First choice. Allergic asthma is a more common in young patients. So this is not allergic asthma is more common in young patient. Idiosyncratic asthma is a more common in old patients. IgE is increased in idiosyncratic asthma. IgE is increased in asthma. Otherwise, I can just scribble this. The question will be more better like this. So all of the
Okay,
following
sir.
are true about asthma except because both type of asthma is put here in the choices. Okay, just write this. We'll read the question like this. All of the following are true about asthma except. What is the so is asthma increasing in incidence now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is
Yes,
increasing
sir.
because of pollution.
Yes, sir.
So
Pollution,
many things.
pollens, allergens, sir.
What?
Sir, allergen pollution, sir.
Yeah, so that is the reason allergic incidence of asthma in the world it is increasing. That is true. Then
Yes, sir.
allergic asthma is more common in young patients. So allergic asthma or extrinsic asthma, both.
Yes, sir.
So this is definitely more common in young.
Yeah,
Yes,
sir.
young
Correct.
people.
Correct?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Correct, sir.
Huh? So idiosyncratic asthma, otherwise called as intrinsic asthma. Hmm? It is more common in older or adults. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Idiosyncratic. So this is also true. This is also true. This is also true. Now we have got two choices. IgE is increase in idiosyncratic asthma. IgE increase in extrinsic asthma. So which of them is? This is definitely because
It is
extrinsic
correct, sir.
asthma
Yes, sir.
IgE
Correct, sir.
is increased, but not
Not
here.
in
Okay.
idiosyncratic, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, IgE is not increased in idiosyncratic asthma. This should be your answer. Okay.
Yes, sir. Fourth one, sir.
Any doubts here? Okay. We'll go to the next choice. I mean, the same table which we are discussing here. So this is a table which explains that extrinsic asthma are also called as allergic asthma. Intrinsic asthma is also called as idiosyncratic asthma. So history of atopy is present here. No family history also. No atopy. And one more thing is these patients are associated with the nasal polyp and aspirin sensitivity. Hmm? Idiosyncratic asthma can be associated with this and this. Okay. It is also called
Yes,
as
sir.
Semeter triad. I'll come to that. Okay. When idiosyncratic asthma is associated with this and this, it is called Semeter's triad. So attacks are related to environmental exposure, definitely with extrinsic asthma, but not so with idiosyncratic asthma. IgE is increased here, not here. Okay. Okay. IgE is not elevated in idiosyncratic asthma. So as it is, young is common, young extrinsic asthma, it is delayed onset. And usually this is less severe. Young onset asthma, less severe. Less severe. Very few cases will have progress to severe asthma. But these cases are more often more severe cases of asthma. Although it onset is in adulthood, they progress to severe cases very commonly. Unlike in extrinsic asthma, which starts in younger age, many times during the adolescence, this extrinsic asthma may disappear. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You should know this. The patient can have spontaneous remissions with this. And you should know that, I'll come to that later, asthma and chronic bronchitis are different.
Yes, sir.
I'll come to that later. Very vaguely I told you now because you should remember that. Now, that's about that. All of the following are statements about intrinsic asthma are true except. So, intrinsic asthma means, as I told you in the previous slide, nasal polyp will be there.
Yes, sir.
IgE is normal. It is a more aggressive, true. But there is no family history here. So, this is the answer. Except.
Yes, sir.
You got it?
Yes,
Any
sir.
doubt? I'll
No,
go to the
sir.
next question. Aspirin sensitive asthma is associated with which of the following? Obesity, urticaria, nasal polyp, extrinsic asthma. You tell me what is correct answer here.
Nasal polyp.
Nasal polyp, sir.
Yeah, just now I discussed that. Nah? Triad.
Yes,
Scimitar triad. I'll come to that. What? The will come to. Now, aspirin sensitive asthma, this is a well established clinical entity. This is a well defined clinical entity. That is called Scimitar's triad is there. That is aspirin sensitivity, nasal polyp, and asthma. That is intrinsic. Okay, intrinsic asthma. So aspirin sensitivity with nasal polyp with intrinsic asthma is called Scimitar's triad. Okay, if this is associated with rhinosinusitis, this is Scimitar's triad. Rhinosinusitis, then it is called aspirin exacerbated respiratory disease. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Hyporesponsiveness.
these questions are a bit simple, but they're very important questions. They will be more commonly asked. That's why I'd gone a bit more questions on asthma. Bronchial asthma, I don't want you to do silly mistakes in the exams. Bronchial asthma is characterized by all of the following except.
Hyporesponsiveness.
Hyporesponsiveness of airway.
Yeah, correct. Very good. Inflammatory disease of the airway is there. Allergic disease of the airway is also there. Hyper response, steroids, they do respond. So, this is the correct answer because it is except. Now, all of the following are true about asthma except. Charcot, what are the types of crystals you see in asthma?
Charcot-laden cells.
Okay.
Krishman spirals.
Sun spirals, Krushman spirals. One more.
Crayola bodies.
What?
Crayola bodies.
Crayola bodies. Yeah. Crayola bodies. Yeah, good. You've gone through my slides. I have already uploaded them yesterday. Charcot-laden crystals may be seen in the sputum. Yeah. They're commonly seen in the sputum. Reversible airway obstruction is a characteristic feature. So the one important distinguishing feature from asthma from chronic bronchitis is this. This is the most important thing. Okay, reversible, and there are diurnal variation, all that. So if there is a reversible airway obstruction with then we call it asthma. If there is only less than 25% reversible, then it becomes chronic bronchitis. That is the basic difference. So in asthma patients, reversible airway obstruction is there. Very characteristic it is there. Charcot-laden is there. Large airways are involved. Are large airways involved in asthma? Anybody? Vani?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, large airways are involved.
It's
Airways not involved. What do you think? Small airways are involved or not involved?
Not involved, sir.
So according to you, this is also correct then. All four
Yes,
are
sir.
correct. Intermittent asthma responds better to bronchodilator therapy than persistent asthma. Is this correct statement? Intermittent asthma responds to bronchodilator therapy than persistent asthma. What do you think?
I think it's something, sir. It's not correct, sir.
Mhm. So intermittent meant less severe. Definitely it responds to bronchodilator therapy. Na? Persistent is more severe. It may not respond. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So the sentence is correct only. So this all are correct then according to you.
Small airways are also involved, sir.
Okay, actually in asthma, both large and small airways are involved. Huh? Small airways are also involved. Huh? Both type of airways are involved in asthma. You should remember that. Okay. Huh? So the answer is this. Hmm? We'll go on further on these trials. So Charcot Eden trials are nothing but they are formed from granules released from eosinophils. They'll form these Leyden styles. They will something like this actually. Crystals like this. Okay. Charcot. Crispin spirals, they take the space of the uh, uh, bronchioles. Okay. The whatever the epithelium shed, they take the shape and the spiral like they'll appear. And Crayola bodies are all dead cells. Okay. Multiple dead cells. They will single or multiple. These are three types of. There are three types of uh, uh, what is the crystals bodies are seen in the sputum of asthmatic. One is Charcot Leyden, Crespin, Crayola. Huh? Hmm? What about Reed's index? Akash, what is Reed's index?
Um,
Where it is increased? Where Reed's index is increased? Where Reed's index that is increased in chronic bronchitis. Anyway, I'll be taking that tomorrow. Just I want to tell you today. Fine.
yes, sir.
Hearing me, all of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So these are the three type of foreign body. I mean, the three type of crystals that are seen in sputum of asthmatics. They may ask these questions. Just remember that. So all of the following are the features of acute severe asthma. So pulsus paradoxus.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is seen.
Acute severe asthma. Okay. What is pulsus paradoxus? Newcomers. Probably I did not teach you. That's why I'm asking. What is pulsus paradoxus? Pulsus paradoxus exaggerated. It is exaggerated physiological decrease
Decline.
in BP. Systolic. That is in during inspiration.
During inspiration.
That is more than 10,
More than 10
mmHg.
millimeters.
Yeah, 10
Yes, sir.
mmHg. Okay. Exaggerated physiological. Physiologically, it is less than 10, and in pulsus paradoxus, it is more than 10 fall. Systolic blood pressure during inspiration. If that is the case, we call it as pulsus paradoxus. Okay. In acute, what are the causes of pulsus paradoxus?
Tamponade,
Tamponade.
cardiomyopathies,
Heart failure, sir.
MI, asthma,
Sir,
Asthma.
See,
ARDS,
very
sir.
good. See.
cardiac tamponade, pericardial effusions, cardiomyopathies.
Yes, sir. Respiratory distress, sir, also.
No, don't say the pericardial effusion. That is the biggest mistake you're doing, Akash. So, pericardial effusion doesn't cause. It will be tamponade.
Okay,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So, pericardial effusion is a less severe form of tamponade, actually. If it is a mild effusion, so it's just like telling intermittent asthma causing pulsus paradoxus. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Akash,
Yes, sir.
only in
Understood.
severe asthma, we get pulses paradoxus. Na? Similarly, pericardial effusion doesn't cause. It's severe form tamponade will cause. Okay?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Huh?
Yes,
Then,
sir.
so in acute severe asthma, pulses paradoxus is there.
Yes, sir.
Respiratory acidosis, can you
Yes,
get?
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
what is respiratory acidosis? pH is
Decrease
down,
in pH due to
CO2 is
decrease in.
more, bicarbonate also more.
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
pH is down.
pH
That
is
is
down.
less than
CO2 is more and HCO3 is more.
7.35. Normally 7.4, this one 7.0 to 4.5. So less than 7.35 is acidosis. Now along with that CO2 will be increased and bicarbonate will also be increased. Then we call it as respiratory acidosis. Bicarbonate
Yes, yes.
increases, second it compensatory metabolic
Metabolic alkalosis.
alkalosis. Okay. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In SNL class, we discussed the new for newcomers. I'm just telling once more. Fine. What is this PEFR or PEF? Whatever.
Expir
Huh?
Peak flow, peak
P
flow
expiratory
expiratory.
flow or flow
expiratory
rate.
flow rate.
Huh?
Peak expiratory flow rate.
Yeah. P expiratory flow or rate, whatever. So P that means it is a flow maximum speed with which the patient can expire following
Yes.
taking a full inspiration. The
Yes, sir.
person who is undergoing the test has to take a full inspiration. Huh? He completely have to inhale. Then
Yes,
with
sir.
as much as force, he should exhale, expire inside into that instrument. So that speed we, whatever the moment that is considered as PFR. That's how we check. So this is 50% of what it is. I not written here. So PEFR uh, for any patient is not a single time measurement. Okay.
Yes, sir.
PFR varies from individual to individual. There is a normal expected is 95%.
It's
Huh?
compatible.
Age group. So for
Yes, sir.
any patient, what we do is you ask him to keep doing it. It is actually domiciliary technique to monitor asthma. Hmm. So if the PFR is 80% of
Yes, sir.
his patient's PFR it is. Huh? If it falls below 80%, then we start suspecting patient is worsening. And if it falls below 50% of his baseline PFR, then we call it as severe form. It will be there. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Severe form.
That is
His
also correct, sir.
baseline. Patient's baseline it is. Huh? What is it? Hello.
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Tachycardia more than 150 per minute.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
Occurs, sir. It's
Okay.
more than 120.
Okay, it occurs. Can there be in severe asthma, very severe asthma, can there be bradycardia?
Tachycardia.
Okay, I'll come to that later. I'm anyway, the slides are there. Pulses, paradoxus, respiratory acidosis. All these things are correct. Then the answer is this: none. Except none. All are correct. Okay. So this is the
Yes, sir.
instrument. There are many designs. This is one of the instruments. These are the instruments. So patient has to put his mouth here and flow and blow inside this.
Yes, sir.
Then this one it will move from here with whatever speed force it will move, and that's how we see. Okay. He has to check in his home only. Patient has to check in his home every day. Okay, I'll come here. So peak expiratory flow rate is less than 80% of the patient's personal best should trigger the administration of inhaled short-acting beta agonist. That's all. Whatever treatment is taking now, if that falls, on treatment or without treatment, if it falls less than 80% of his best, then you should trigger the treatment speed. That's what it's still inhaled short-acting beta 2 antagonists are to be given. And if it falls below 50, then it is if patient needs medical attention or he may need admission. or it may go for acute severe asthma. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Personal best PFR measured. Uh, what happens is after treatment, they keep on improving. So if they reach the 95% of that predicted value, then we call him as patient has got satisfactorily treated. Now, classification of severe asthma. How do you classify them? By severity. So there is mild, moderate, severe, and impending respiratory failure. Okay, this is how we classify. Breathlessness here, it is a with activity in mild form, with walking itself, at rest. Okay, speech, sentences, phrases, words, mute. Patient can't speak in the impaired respiratory failure. Okay, body position. Patient is able to recline. He can take a supine position. Prefer sitting here. In a severe form, he can't even recline. Orthopnea will be severe here. So unable to recline. Okay, same thing here. Respiratory rate is increased more than 30 in both. Okay. Accessory muscles, they're not active. Commonly seen. Very common here. And paradoxically, thoracoabdominal type of respiration is seen in patients with impending respiratory failure.
Yes, sir.
Blood sounds, you can hear only wheeze at the end of the expiration. Loud wheeze or throat expiration. Loud inspiration, wheeze is seen both inspiration and expiration. Here, wheeze will disappear. Only little air movement. What you call as silent chest.
Yes.
Very ominous
Yes.
sign, very grave sign. Hmm? Hmm? Heart rate is less than 100 here, 100 to 120, more than 120. In impending failure, it is relative bradycardia. There may not be tachycardia there. Pulses products, as I said, it will be normal here, 10 to 25 increase hour, but is less than 25. In severe form, it will be more than 25. Pulses products is absent here. Even it will be less than 10 only. Absent. In impending respiratory failure, pulses products may disappear. If it has appeared here, when it comes here, it may disappear. So pulses products, if it's not there, don't tell that patient is having not severe asthma. It could be even worse than that. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Mental status. Usually they'll hesitate here in these three and they become drowsy and confused here. So PF more than 80%, 50 to 80%, less than 50, severe form, less than 50, severe form. SaO2 and PaO2, both. That SaO2 saturation is 95%, PaO2 is normal. This is 91 to 95, this is just more than 60. Less than 91, less than 60 oxygen. MMSG it is. Okay. This is percentage, this is MMSG. And this is less than 60 here. Okay. And carbon dioxide, there is that means less than 42, no S doses, less than 42. But when it becomes severe and here, the patient will develop respiratory acidosis because carbon dioxide is increasing there slowly. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Understood this? Anyway, this slide will be there for you. You can use it. In a patient with bronchial asthma, silent chest signifies
Grave prognosis, sir. Silent chest means there is no
grave.
air
Bad, I
flow
can
or
explain
flow.
that.
Life-threatening condition, sir.
What?
Yes, sir. There is no air movement in the chest. There is no air movement in the chest,
Yeah,
which means
because
it's
there is no
respiratory
air
problem.
movement. Because of that, decreased air movement is there. Because of that, you get what do you say?
Grave prognosis.
Huh?
There is respiratory failure.
Grave prognosis. Hmm? That is a grave prognosis, not just bad. You should take grave prognosis. Ominous sign, it is very bad sign.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Silent
sir.
chest in a patient with acute severe asthma. Where you get other than that, no breath sounds apart from asthma, severe asthma? Anybody? Maybe localized to some fields.
Uh,
What I am reading,
Pleural effusion.
Sir,
then what is this I am reading
massive,
now?
massive pneumonia.
Pneumothorax.
Pneumothorax, pleural effusion,
Yes, sir.
collapse. These all things can be associated with the hardly heard breath sounds also. Before diagnosing asthma, just look at these things also. Fine. You have to
Yes.
do, that's why auscultation, percussion, auscultation, you have to do everything. Then you should make a conclusion. Okay. What happens to the pleural effusion, percussion? What happens?
Story
What
dull,
type
sir.
of dullness?
Dull,
Story
sir.
dull.
Very
Dull.
dull. Okay. There is a breath sounds hard, not heard. At the
Yes, sir.
level or above the level of effusion, there can be bronchial breath sounds.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pneumothorax, what happens? Node
Sir,
is hyper
hypervigilant.
resonance with no sounds. Trachea shifted to opposite side.
Yes, sir.
Pneumothorax. These signs you have to see. So silent chest, see all these things. Don't say straight away severe asthma. Okay. Adult with the asthma presents with the asthma symptoms every day and wakes up 2 to 3 days in a week. He can be classified as having.
Moderate persistent.
Moderate persistent, sir.
So that means if the patient is having every day breathlessness, episode of asthma, and is not able to sleep 2 to 3 days in a week, then it is a moderate persistent asthma. I'll show that chart. This type of intermittent asthma. Okay, here's a chart. Okay. See, components here symptoms. In intermittent, it is less than 2 days a week. And for a month, less than 2 in a month. Okay. At night time, night episodes are less than 2 times in a month. And during not time, daytime, it is less than 2 days in a week. Okay. That is intermittent. If the patient has got more than 2 days in a week and 3 to 4 days in a month, then it is what? Mild persistent. I not written here. I forgot to write here. This is mild, moderate, severe persistent. So this is mild persistent, moderate persistent, severe persistent. So mild persistent means more than 2 days in a week, but not daily. This case has got daily. More than two, that doesn't daily has got, and more than once in a week he is getting up in the night. Okay, so he fits here, the case which has been disclosed, and throughout the day, more often 7 days in a week night. So always is symptomatic, severe persistent. Okay, so this is the case with this. Okay, got
Yes,
it?
sir.
Yes, sir.
In a patient with the clinical signs of asthma, which of the test will confirm the diagnosis? Which of the test will confirm the diagnosis? Asthma. Yesterday, we were discussing about FEV1 by FVC, obstructive lung
Obstructive
disease.
lung.
80%.
Yeah. FEV1 by FVC is generic,
Yes, sir.
obstructive lung disease. It will say it is a case of obstructive lung disease. But does it say it is asthma? Unlikely, na? It could be anything in obstructive lung disease. What are the obstructive lung disease you know?
Bronchial asthma and COPD, sir.
Good.
COPD, bronchial asthma.
Bronchiectasis, cystic
Bronchiectasis.
fibrosis. These are all obstructive
The
lung disease. It could be
ARP.
anything. This ratio, if it is increased, it is obstructive lung disease. Okay. More than 200 ml increase in FEV1. Still, it talking about obstructive lung disease only again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Diurnal variation of PF more than 20%.
Yes, sir.
This is actually not obstructive lung disease. It is actually whole sentences with treatment with bronchodilatitis.
Yes, sir.
It is not obstructive lung disease. It can be asthma, but not very specific. Okay. With the bronchodilator therapy, you should imagine that is a part of the choice there. Diurnal variation of PF more than 20%. Reduction of FEV1 more than 20% after bronchodilators. What do you
Yes, sir.
expect? It is not reduction. It should be increase.
Yes, sir.
Increase in FEV1 more than 20%, and this should be with the bronchodilator therapy. Okay, these things are suggestive of asthma, but this is the best. Okay, this should be, the choice should have been increased. Huh? Increase, and this should be with the bronchodilator therapy. So all these, then these, all these three suggest asthma, but this is specific. Diurnal variation of peak expected flow more than 20% is specific for asthma. Okay, I'll show that
Yes,
here.
sir.
So if to diagnose asthma, we have to see these three parameters. One is reversible airflow obstruction. Okay, you have to show that airway obstruction is reversible. To make it different from chronic bronchitis, where it is not reversible. Okay, then you have to show there is an increase in PF, increase PF with treatment. I mean, airway hyper responsiveness you have to demonstrate. Okay, so reversible airflow obstruction, how do you prove it? With more than 12% reversibility of FEV1 with bronchodilator therapy. After 450 minutes, after bronchodilator therapy, if there is a more than 12% increase in FEV1 or 200 ml increase in FEV1 with bronchodilator therapy, that these are the findings you should get. Demonstrate diurnal variation with PF. That's what is there here. Inference here. Measured by methylcholine or histamine challenge. You give them these drugs and see the hyper-responsiveness of the airways. There should be a drop in FEV1 by more than 20% on the baseline. When you give these drugs, if there's a drop, then FEV1 occurs, then patient has got hyper responsiveness. That's how you prove these three things. Now, of the three, the inference here, positive reversibility strongly suggest diagnosis of asthma. It strongly suggests. Okay. Hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But of the three, this diurnal variation of PF more than 20% is diagnostic of asthma. This is a very important test. So if the choices are diurnal variation is there, take it for diagnostic test of asthma. Okay. Positive test strongly suggests asthma. This and this suggest strongly, but this confirms. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bronchial asthma is best diagnosed by wheeze, dyspnea and cough, FEV1 values, demonstration of reversible obstruction, normal FEV1. Why others are not speaking? So I want you to answer this because I have discussed many parts of this. You can, those people who are here were there for the class here and now only, they can answer that. Rest are left, Okay, they are there still. Abrar, you can try to answer. So the V's can be there due to many things. Dyspnea cough can be many ways. FEN values,
Yes, sir.
there are many. All obstructive lung disease can have this. Normally, FEV1 definitely doctor suggests of asthma. Okay. Now this one demonstration of
Yes, sir.
reversible
This is
obstruction.
sir.
See here in this slide, this is there. So of the three, this thing is there. So this suggests asthma. Okay, this is the correct answer of the choices. Medication not useful in the treatment of asthma. Which one is not useful in this treatment of asthma?
Morphine, sir.
Morphine.
Yeah. Abrar.
Morphine.
Yeah, morphine. Ipatomium, salbutamol, montelukast, definitely they are used. Morphine, if you give, what happens in asthma patients?
It exaggerates it asthma, sir.
It worsens asthma because there is a
Constriction.
bronchoconstriction. Okay. And which kind a patient comes in breathlessness? I will give him morphine, but when I'll give that? A patient has come to me and I have given him morphine. What kind of breathlessness I will give him morphine?
Sir, in MI, sir.
I'm just telling breathlessness now. You tell me.
In cardiac causes, sir.
Yeah, cardiogenic pulmonary edema. Cardiogenic pulmonary edema, I do give morphine. The patient has come with breathlessness. But be sure you should not be a case of acute severe asthma. You can kill him. It can worsen. Okay. Respiratory depression, so many things will happen. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Acute severe breathlessness, watch out. It is definitely not acute severe asthma. If not, don't give this. Anyway, it's not easily available. Okay, you should know that. Morphine is contraindicated in acute severe asthma and it is indicated in pulmonary edema. That is a sort of a knowledge you should have before treating. Leukotriene inhibitors are used in asthma for. So which is the correct answer? Monotherapy for acute attack. Add-on therapy for in a patient not controlled by low dose. What is ICS?
Inhaled corticosteroid, sir.
Good,
Inhaled
very good.
corticosteroid.
Yeah, add-on therapy in a patient with controlled, not controlled by inhaled corticosteroids. Status asthmaticus means what?
It is
So
severe.
persistent for a long time.
Huh?
Asthma persistent for a long time.
Acute severe asthma, one more name, man.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
It's a severe
Huh?
form of asthma.
Acute
Like
severe
close to like
asthma, in the
lasting
past,
for days and
it was
weeks.
called as status asthmaticus. Okay?
Yes,
Huh?
sir.
Yes.
Because there was status epilepticus, na? From that analogy, they brought this status asthmaticus. Now the nomenclature has changed. Purposely I wrote this to make you know that. Okay? The modern name is acute severe asthma only. Status
Yes, sir.
asthmaticus means acute severe asthma. Okay? Any of the above. Now tell me what is the correct answer here.
The second one, sir.
Second one, sir.
Okay. Yeah. These leukotriene inhibitors, montelukast and all that, they cannot be used in acute attack because they don't have any benefit in acute attack. Only
Yes, sir.
if you want to reduce the dose of ICS, patient dependency, you can add this montelukast. Okay. And status asthmaticus definitely not useful. So this is the correct answer. Okay. Antibody used in treatment of bronchial asthma. Which of this?
Oxalizumab.
Omalizumab.
Oxalizumab, sir.
Okay.
First one, sir.
Omalizumab.
Okay.
First
The
one.
Omalizumab.
first one. The first one is the omalizumab. This is the correct answer. So where you use this, but these are all antibodies. This omalizumab is an antibody against IgE. Okay. It acts on IgE antibodies and thus neutralizes the IgE antibodies and reduces the asthma.
Yes,
It is
sir.
used in moderate and severe asthma. Okay. It acts on these antibodies only. So antibody to antibody it is. Okay. So these are all antibodies, but this antibody is for that antibody. So what is this used for? These three.
CLL.
So omalizumab is used for asthma. Rituximab is used in non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Daclazumab is used for in multiple sclerosis. Okay, and trastuzumab. What is this? Trastuzumab is in breast cancer, stomach cancer. Note these things. They may ask you a question. So that's all today, and tomorrow you want to take? So tomorrow I will continue with that rest of the COPDs, obstructive lung diseases, because there is a COPD, bronchitis, and all that. I'll try to finish it tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So the others, they are not participating, or they must be real concerned. New class, new people like that. If you have to participate. Yeah, you have to read. Then only it will become easy
Yes,
for
sir,
you
yes, sir.
to.
Actually, I joined the class today, so I just kept my mic off, but I was answering the questions in the comment.
Okay, I got it. I heard. That's why I'm asking you to improve yourself.
Yes, sir.
There are some chat box I didn't see. People have put send messages. Oh, So, they are chat means they have put their answer in chat,
Yes, sir.
and I have to tell them that my chat I will not be able to. More often I will not be seeing chat box. That is one problem here. Ask them to talk only. Okay. Huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Tomorrow at same time at 8 o'clock in the evening we'll join. Huh?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.